Mobility metrics. This question can come in development economics. And the question can be, what is mobility metrics? And they can give you a scenario in which you have to create one. But the first thing, what is a mobility matrix? So this is, I mean, how income positions of various countries are going to change over time. This matrix is going to tell you that. So if there is a country which was earning 1/4 of the world average, let's say in 2000, so is it still earning 1/4 of the world average, or it has moved up? So this is what mobility matrix is going to tell you. So I'll just write points so that in case of the question comes, then how do you answer this? So how it tells how income positions, of countries change over time relative to each other. In other words, how mobile nations are with respect to global income distribution. Hmm. Or how mobile nations are within the global income distribution. So it is going to tell you whether the countries who were starting as rich countries, did they remain rich or they turned poor, or countries who started as poor countries over time, whether they became rich or they remain poor. So this is what it is trying to tell you. Uh, so it shows whether the countries that start rich or poor tend to remain that way or move up or down in the relative income rank. Guys, in the you need to have words to write answers. So that is the reason we have to write everything almost. Uh, and the better is that if you also write along with me. And who gave this first? This was given by Danny Qua in 1993, right? Uh, so there are five categories which he used. Uh, there are five categories which he used. Let's say there are countries who are earning 1/4 of the average of the world average. between 1 by 4 and 1 by 2 of the average, between 1 by 2 and the world average. 1 is the world average. 2, between world average and twice the world average. And infinity, more than twice the world average. This is for the year, I think, 1962. Hmm? This thing. And for the year 1984, again, like this, countries earning 1 by 4 of the world average, between 1 by 4 and half of the world average, between half and world average, between this guy, your world average and twice the world average, and more than twice the world average. This is the way. So if I write any number like this, so this tells you what? 76% of the countries who were earning 1 by 4th of the world average in 1962, they are still earning 1 by 4th of the world average in 1984. You with me? 76% of the countries who were earning 1 by 4th of the world average in 1962, they are still earning 1 by 4th of the world average in 1984, whatever with the world average, right? So then a number like this, 12 means 12% of the countries who were earning 1 by 4th of the world average in 1962, they moved up the ladder and now they are earning between 1 by 4 and half of the world average. And 12% of the earnings, 12% of the countries were earning 1 by 4th of the world average. They moved up the ladder and they are almost earning up to the world average now. You with me? Like this. Okay. And similarly, we can just fill up the entire matrix. You do not have to learn this matrix. I'm sure you can write these points. Of course, you have to explain what does this 76 would mean, what the diagonal elements are going to mean. I'll just tell you that. Uh, I'm not expecting you to learn this matrix. That's not needed. The only thing which you will have to remember is that this rho should be equal to 0. Oh, sorry, rho should be equal to 100. 46. This is taken from Debraj Ray, chapter 2. 53 and 24. 0, 0, 5, 95. Like this. Now the point is that we will write few points about this matrix. We'll write few points about this matrix. One of the point about this matrix could be that, of course, in the answer you will write that each row is representing the percentage of countries earning this much for this average. Each column is represent for 1962. Each column is representing the same for 1984. You will write this in the answer, right? So I'm not writing all that, but few points I will write. One, you just look at the diagonal entries, like this. Just look at these diagonal entries. So diagonal entries are going to tell you the countries that remain as they were in 1962. They remain same as they were in 1984. So just Read 31. What is this telling you? 31% of the countries were earning, of the sample which he has taken, 31% of the countries were earning half of the world average in 1962, and they are still earning half of the world average in 1984 also. Uh, so, diagonal entries. Diagonal entries are going to tell you what? That countries that remained in the same relative income category. Right. Uh, so if there are very high numbers along the diagonal entries, it means that there is very low mobility. Right, this point also. High numbers along the diagonal. Along the diagonal. Low mobility. And if there are low numbers, low diagonal numbers, with significant off diagonal categories. With significant off diagonal entries. It would mean high mobility. Right. So if you look at this 31 wala thing, of course, this moving to 10 is not a very significant number. Just look at it like this. So those countries in 1962, 10% of the countries were, you can say, or you can say 31% of the countries. No, not off diagonal, it's the same year. Hmm. So just look at one of the off diagonal entries, for example, this 10. So it tells you what? 10% of the countries were earning half of the world average in 1962, and now they are earning up to world average in 1984. So this is telling you, off diagonal entries are telling you what? They are telling you whether mobility is going up or down, right? So so these are the off diagonal categories. You can also write that point, or off diagonal entries. Show the movement between categories. To movement between categories. For example, this 26. So it tells you what? 26% of the countries were earning almost world average in 1962, but when by 1984, they 26% of the countries they were earning now, they were earning what, twice the world average. Uh, so 26% of the countries that were between half in the world average in 1962 moved to between world average and twice the world average in 1984. So this is an upward movement. This is what it is telling you. You with me, guys? Hmm? A few points, one or two more points you can just write so that there is, from the diagram which has been made, you can see a few points. One, there is persistent poverty and wealth. Poverty. How do you know this? 76% of the countries who were earning 1 by 4th of the world average in 1962, they're still earning 1 by 4, right? So they remain in the same group. So I'm not writing everything. You will have to write this uh, in a sentence. And there is a persistent wealth also, which means what? 95% of the countries who were earning more than twice the world average in 1962, they are still earning more than twice the world average in 1984. They remain in that group. So 95% of the richest countries, they remain in the richest group. And 76% of the poorest countries, they remain in the poorest group only. You with me? So then please write about this, huh? Write a complete line for this. Countries in the middle income group, that is countries in the middle income range between 1 and 2, they have shown some mobility, both upward and downward. Greatest mobility occurs in the middle ranges. Hmm. And some poor countries, they even show a downward movement, right? Rich countries, they remain more or less very stable. So this also tells you that uh, that uh, uh, poverty is more persistent uh, than wealth, right? Uh, so there is an asymmetry in movement. So it means what? Few poor countries show some downward movement also. Rich countries remain very stable. Those who are in the rich group, they remain in the rich group only. And this asymmetry implies that poverty is more persistent than wealth. Right, beta? Okay. Right. Please make proper notes. Huh? I've taken this from Debraj Ray, chapter 2. You can write somewhere. Okay. Thank you, beta.